So we watched this. I'm just gonna start going. I might be here for some time. Feel free to hang out if you want. We watched Thrive and Thrive 2 within a few days of each other. And I was practicing my critical thinking by saying, like, anytime I consume any sort of media, I try to intuit why this person is sharing this message, right? What's in it for them? Why is this person telling me these things? What are they trying to do? What's their intention, right? And not in like a, ooh, what are they trying to do? But the more, like, if you follow the money with a lot of things, a lot of people will say a bunch of shit just to get money in their pocket. And they don't really care about who they're sharing the message to. They're just doing it as a talking head. So I was watching Thrive and Thrive 2. And essentially, at the end of Thrive 2, Foster Gamble, who is the great-grandson of the Procter & Gamble, the Gamble from that. Procter & Gamble, P&G, they own a whole bunch of, like, bath supplies. Like, they make all of your bath products. And they don't have your highest intention in good, right? They don't have your highest intention in mind. Those kind of products, they just put whatever is cheap in there that's going to get the job done. And like, ooh, they cause cancer. Oops, well, I'm going to pay this scientist to do the study to say that it doesn't cause cancer so that we can move on, right? Like those chemicals putting on your body, it's not good. So this Foster Gamble is the great-grandson from that company. And he starts in Thrive saying, I chose to detach from the company. I went my own way. I did my own thing, right? So like he's black sheep energy. So he says it. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I get you. You've detached from the conglomerate that your family has come from. Cat, Thrive and Thrive 2, they are documentaries. I'm planning on getting a watch party together so that we can all watch these together and like talk through it on a chat. So just keep that in mind. So this Foster Gamble, there's just something like, is he just saying that he's disassociated from this company? Is he really doing this for Procter & Gamble? Is he really trying to promote his family's business? And like, I was kind of watching with that perception, and I was trying to think about like, well, what is his call to action? What is he telling us to do? What is he providing as the solution to this problem? Because in the way that the rest of the media has like provided solutions, it's usually come through the lens of, here's this really scary thing, I'll take care of you. Here's this really scary thing, give all your money over here and then you'll be protected, right? But Foster Gamble's message is, here's this really scary thing, just be a good human. Just act with integrity. So no one's benefiting, right? But there was the fear part of my brain that's going, like, what's his motive? What is he trying to, like, rope me into? Just a little bit. And then I had this revelation about astrology, about the world, about cycles, about the nature of things. It was a universal truth. He's offering, and I'm sure a lot of us have heard about this new earth. A lot of us have heard about this, like, age of Aquarius. We're going into this whole thing of community and collaboration, and it's time to get along, right? Everything that started in the 60s, it's actually happening. And there are some people who aren't ready for that, right? There's some people who are really attached to, nope, I gotta work my 9 to 5, I gotta get my pension in, and this is the only way that the world can work, I trust the banks and everything. Like, there's people that are holding on to that, and that's for them, you know? So this whole astrology cycles, like, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. The astrology says so. Everything that I've seen in the past, coming in the future astrology, like, it has happened. The energy is available. We're going there. So if you don't want pain and suffering, then let go and just ride the wave. That is surrender. That is quite literally surrender. Well, it's happening, so I'm going to let go of how everything was, and I'm going to have a little bit of excitement to see what I can do with what's coming. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the elephant in the room. I don't know why I'm so afraid to talk about the election. I don't know why I don't know why we're all told to not talk politics. And I feel like that's kind of set up to work against us. Speaking from this top-down control, right? We're going to force you into choosing one of two people. We're going to make you so uncomfortable that you have to give your life to one of two parties. And then when you're upset that you lost, you're not supposed to yell at the other people. You're not supposed to voice your opinion. Like, we don't talk about that. Like, how authoritarian is that, right? And I don't want to talk politics in the way of like, well, I'm right and you're wrong and this is the right way and that's the wrong way, because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Everything that is happening, it's happening. It is happening. So same with the whole age of Aquarius, the people who are not ready for it, if they want to be ready, they just got to let go and go, right? Go down the roller coaster. Like, it's happening. Whatever has occurred in the United States, like, will be happening in January. If you're on board, awesome. If you're not on board, what is it that you are feeling? What are you afraid of? Those are the things that you're passionate about. Those are the things that you are here to make a difference in this world. It is a-okay that not the whole world wants what you want. That's a-okay. That does not threaten your passion. Does that make sense? And the same goes on both sides, right? If you're super happy about what happened and you see that it's going to be great, that's great. Not everyone wants what you want, and that's okay. The purpose of being a human is not making everyone the same. The purpose of being a human is to be challenged by other people so that we can grow and evolve. So I will say, this time 8 years ago, in 2016, when this election result happened in 2016, I wrote a journal. So I keep an online journal, and then like occasionally it'll come back with an email like, this is what you wrote 8 years ago. So I reread my entry from 8 years ago, and at that time I was much more involved in media. I wasn't watching the news, but I was working at the Apple Store. I was working at a very mainstream type community that was very up with the mainstream narrative. And when I woke up to see who was president in 2016, I was upset. I was very let down. I journaled that I was upset that I probably will not buy a house, at least for the next 4 years, and I will definitely not have babies for the next 4 years. I was real upset. People like my managers at work were hugging me. It was emotional. And then those 4 years went by, and I bought a house. I actually bought 2 houses. I didn't have babies because I couldn't get pregnant because I wasn't with the right people at the time. But I started my own business, and I gained much more financial independence. So the fears that came up at that time didn't come true. So I just want you guys to know that as well. Like, there are fears that come up, and emotions are emotions because they're here to push you into something, right? Obviously, if I was afraid that I couldn't buy a house, that means that I wanted to be a homeowner. So how do I become a homeowner despite what's happening around me, right? So the same thing right now. I know that there's a lot of fear around what this administration is going to do. And part of me feels like I'm not warranted to talk about this because I don't give a fuck. I don't look at either side of the media. I really don't care. However, what I can tell you is in that time is when I met my husband, right? While Trump was in his first presidency is when I met Paul. And that's when the world shut down. And that's when he immediately was like, this is all puppet. Everything is puppeted. We're all being controlled by everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm scared for my children. They might get sick. I'm scared for my students. They might get sick. And Paul's super opinionated. And he's like, no, It's fine, you're free. And I started acting like that, and I was like, oh shit, well, I am free. Check that out. I do get to make my own decisions. Check that out. And that's when I like detached more from the mainstream. I'll be honest with you guys, I went down some real deep conspiracy holes. For like 2 years, I got real deep into the alternative conservative side of things. I got real familiar with Q. I got real familiar with Trump's policies. I got real familiar with how the right was bashing the left. And at that point is when I engaged in critical thinking. I had my entire upbringing with the mainstream media liberal side of things, because that's the agenda that's pushed on mainstream media. And then I had my alternative view, conservative side, and I was able to sit with both and say, what makes sense? What makes sense here? They're both just yelling at each other. No one is here to, like, most people just want to get along in the world. It's not the right versus the left. The media tells us stories that like, oh my God, that person over there, they're the worst person ever, and they shouldn't be doing this, and this is going to ruin your life. And like, honestly, life doesn't work like that. It just creates all this fear so that we're afraid to go engage with people who are different than us, because you never know. You never know, right? But the more you do it, the more you engage with people who are different than you, you're always going to learn that there is common ground. So the wheels are turning, right? It is happening. The result has been announced. It's going to happen. Woo! Roller coaster. What is coming up inside of me? How can I use this to benefit the world? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I've been scared to talk about this because I feel like I'm the only person in the spiritual community who isn't like thinking that the world is going to be over because Trump's president. And I feel guilty that there's so much fear in the community. And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. But I know, I know that when there's high emotions, we need those stable people to be like, it's fine. It's going to be okay. That doesn't mean that I'm belittling your emotions, you know, that doesn't mean I'm telling you don't be afraid. I'm saying use those emotions. There's a reason why you want to stand up for this group that you are afraid is going to be marginalized. Doesn't mean they're going to be marginalized. It doesn't mean that their rights are going to be taken away. I'm just going to say that. A lot. And this is where like the Thrive documentary comes in. This is where other documentaries come in. Like it's the way that his campaign is smeared is hilarious. And then vice versa too, right? The way that like the right side smeared Kamala's campaign, it's all bullshit. So if you keep looking to the liberal media who's making you think about how scary this guy is, like Trump's a really peaceful man. He has created so many peace treaties already. The whole time that he was in the presidency, we had 0 wars. We had 0 bombs dropped. And then like, how many bombs did Obama drop in his presidency? But like, that's the party of tolerance. Like, it's all just a smear. It's all smear, and it doesn't matter. Whatever's happening outside of you doesn't matter. You have so much choice over what's happening in your life today, so it doesn't fucking matter. Stop looking at it. Because all it does is create divisiveness. If you want to stand up for that community, awesome. Thank you for standing up for that community, because I got my job over here. So please respect my job over here, and I'll respect your job over there. Let's help everybody in the world thrive. So the other documentary that I watched. If you are a sensitive person, do not go search for this one. I watched... I told you guys, I went down so many rabbit holes. I was like the queen of conspiracy. In 2020 through 2022, I was like in it. The Fall of the Cabal is a very, very triggering documentary about a theory about what's happening in our world. Okay, all right, guys. I think I'm nuts, but I believe this, so here we go, because maybe some of you guys need to hear this. So here I am talking head to let you know that if you're also this crazy, you're okay. You're in good company. We watched The Fall of the Cabal. I've seen it. I've seen all the parts of it. It's so much. So much. A theory, right? I haven't seen this stuff with my real eyes, but like, it makes a little bit more sense than the stuff I've seen somewhere else. Anyway, my belief is that every person in the world is innately good. I truly believe it's my truth. Every human being is innately good. Every human being has a heart, and sometimes the heart is just buried under some trauma, but everyone has the ability to heal and to be their highest self and their best self and all this stuff, right? Follow the Cabal talks about a lot of pretty messed up stuff that's happening behind closed doors. I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't want to... and things that, like Mel Gibson has given quotes about Hollywood and about the elites and like the things that they do and how they seem like inhuman, right? They're so disturbing that the things that they do, that they derive pleasure from, it's inhumane. So I was grappling with this while I'm watching Follow the Cabal. Like, how could this so much tragedy, so much hurt and sorrow, how can this be happening when I do truly believe that all humans are innately good? Would someone who is innately good honestly receive pleasure from just, oop, you crossed me? We're going to make it look like you suicided. Oop, you crossed me? We're going to make it look like you had a heart attack, right? So I think I came to the conclusion that I do believe that there are alternate species running our governments and stuff. I'm getting more on that path that they're just reptilians. I've dabbled with that. Did I tell you guys? In 2022, I met a fucking Anunnaki in a bar. Dude channeled the Anunnakis and he talked to me and he told me their plan. They're just here to use humans as slaves to harvest the gold on Earth, and their sun is a binaural sun, or their planet is a binaural sun for us, and it comes around every like 36,000 years or something like that, and they're having their return, and they're here, and if they like us, they're going to take us away with them, and all this stuff, and it's just like, humanity and slavery. There's so many theories out there, so like, my favorite quote nowadays is, fuck around and find out. Sit with information that is radical. Hold on to it. I've been hanging on to this ET thing for almost 3 years. And finally last night I was like, maybe I can't accept this as truth. Like maybe our societies are being run by things that are not human. And that's why power to the people, Pluto and Aquarius, maybe that's why we all need to take over. Not take over, but like take our fucking human rights back. Maybe it is time for us to just band together, get rid of who cares about who's doing what. I love you because you're a human being. Thank you for serving the role that you're meant to serve. And thank you for respecting the role that I'm meant to serve. And that's a wrap. Well, I saw the hearts going, so that gives me validation that I'm on the right path. I've been like dropping this hint for a little while. Like, I'm afraid of triggering people. I know that that's my role here. I know that I'm meant to say like, well, this could be a possibility, and it's gonna like mess with people's perspective. Like, I understand that that's my role, but it's still scary because I don't want to debate. I don't want to debate. And if you share something, this happens all the time with people. People say things to me that I completely disagree with. But I respect, that's your truth, okay. And then I ask them questions about it. Well, how can you develop that strategy? How can you use that part of yourself? So like, I'm afraid that I'll get debated against because I don't care to debate. I really don't care to debate. I'm just sharing my perspective, and I enjoy hearing other people's perspectives. I don't want to fight about it because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing for my life. You get to choose what you want to do for your life. Okay, let's see what you guys are talking about, and then I should hop off of here. I do have a card reading on Monday. April says, this election revealed that the universe is telling us that the government can never save us from ourselves. Take back our power to create our own reality. 100%. 100%. If you want to use me as a talking head to be like, hey, this girl can say this without placing blame or getting defensive about people who disagree with her. If you want to just try to like float the message out, share my videos. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. If you are celebrating in the States, sending love to all. Namaste. Take care.